How It All Started, a biography of Mark Paris by Ryan Bliss, narrated by Mark Paris. This book is dedicated to all of the fans and people who believe in what I do. If it wasn't for their support, I wouldn't have believed that I would have made it this far. Not only do I want to thank my mom for all of her support, but I want to thank all of my friends that think what I do is truly amazing. They really are my biggest fans and are all looking forward to my future as a software developer. Chapter 1, Introduction, 1989. Mark Paris, founder of iApple Tech 128, was born on June 9th, 1989. He's an entrepreneur who started iApple Tech 128 because he wanted to inform people on the latest tech news and show people how to use Apple products. While his love of technology started at an early age, he recently started the company, not so recent at the time of this book's publishing. It's still getting off the ground, and to him, it's already a big success. The company started off with him posting new updates of technology on Google+, and then moved on to YouTube. He felt like this was the best thing that he had ever done, and then decided to take it a step further and made a website. That site would turn out to be an Apple News site. Chapter 2, Childhood, 1999-2006. Mark was born and raised in Portland, Oregon. When he was 10 years old, his parents split up and his mom took him to San Diego, California. They lived there for many years, just him and his mom. When he was young, he knew little about Apple. One thing that he really wanted was an iPod. All of his friends at school had one and were talking about them. One Christmas, he got it, the iPod Nano. Growing up, Mark had some friends in grade school, but when he moved to California, he left behind those friends. Going into middle school, Mark never really made any friends. He had a few, but a week later they moved on and acted like they had never met him before. Mark sat at lunch almost every day alone, going to the library and reading a book when there was passes. Mark was a straight-A student. His teachers loved him, but the one thing that Mark really wanted was a friend. To him, it seemed like no one was nice or they were just too weird. Even though you may think that this was a horrible life with no friends, Mark was fine with that and didn't have a problem spending time alone. Rarely did he feel bad for himself. One winter in 2010, Mark and his mom went to visit family in Los Angeles, California. They were staying in an upscale hotel with many great features. Back then, the only tech that Mark owned was iPod Nano 4th generation and the iPod Touch 2nd generation. His mom owned the iPod Shuffle 1st generation, and his dad owned the iPod Classic, which he took with him when he left them. When they went to Los Angeles, he took the iPod Touch with him, and that was the start of his technology obsession. Chapter 3, The Beginning, sometime in 2010. When they checked into the hotel, they were asked the few words that would change his life. Do you want the password to the Wi-Fi connection? Before then, Mark was not knowledgeable in tech at all. He owned a Dell desktop and he knew how to work it, but was not in the know about Apple or how they worked. In fact, before then, he didn't even know what Wi-Fi was. When they asked if we wanted the password to the Wi-Fi connection, I didn't think much about it, Mark said to me. I loved my iPod Touch and loved to play games on it. There was one app that I didn't know about or what it did, Safari. At home, they didn't connect the iPod Touch to their Wi-Fi connection, so before then, he didn't even know that internet existed on an iPod. One day when he was looking through the settings app in the hotel room, he found the Wi-Fi tab. Those words from the front desk came back to his mind and he decided to go down to the front desk and ask for the password. Back in the room, I entered the password and then waited to see what happened. It launched Safari, concluding my wonders about what Safari was, and then made me agree to the terms and conditions. I did a Google search on the LA Kings, my favorite hockey team that played the night before. I couldn't believe it. I felt like I had just discovered the world or something. That's how happy I was. After playing around with the internet for some time, he discovered the App Store. He told me that there were many great apps for free that he wanted. Every time he tried to download something, he got the same message. Your version of iOS is not supported by this app. Since he couldn't download any apps, he gave up and then updated the version on his computer at home. However, that conclusion didn't come quickly. Mark couldn't find out why there was that message. Up until then, he didn't even know that you need to update the device's version. After doing some looking within the settings app to find the current version number and looking online to see what the problem was, he was finally able to find out why it was showing the message and what he could do to fix it. While sitting at the airport, Mark was observing the people that were also waiting for their airplane. The one person who was sitting on a bench near him got his attention. She was holding this little black box that looked like his iPod Touch, but had a line at the top, which he would later learn was iPhone 3G. That was the one thing that would start his interest in Apple and technology. From that point on, he would watch people to see what type of phones they used. Chapter 4. Updating iOS. Sometime in 2010. When he got home, the first thing he did was update the iOS version. After that, he had the most fun ever with technology. I can now access the internet right from my couch and not have to walk to the office and wait 10 minutes for the computer to start. I could also download new apps that I liked whenever I wanted. After that, he gradually learned more about Apple and how to work the OS. He was addicted to it and loved that iPod so much. He told me that was what started his wanting to teach people little tips and tricks on YouTube. I had my iPod with me everywhere I went, even where there was no Wi-Fi connection. Chapter 5. The iPad. May 2011. It's spring of 2011 and everything is going good. Mark's obsession of technology was so great that he got the LG NV3, a phone that has internet in it and a big screen that flips out for texting. One day when he went to his grandparents' house a few weeks before Easter, he was surprised with 2 boxes. Opening the first box revealed an iPad 2nd generation, and the other box was a black leather smart cover. I didn't even know what an iPad was, or that it even existed before then. When I first got it set up from iTunes, I could not believe the screen size and how amazing the apps and web pages were. The screen resolution was absolutely amazing, and the screen looked stunning. It didn't stop there. One day when he went to the mall, he saw that Apple had just released the white iPad 2. Ever since then, he has been wanting a white iPad. The sign of the white iPad brought him in, and then he explored the store. There were so many devices. The iPhone was the one item that caught my attention, and ever since then, I was wanting an iPhone. Mark also discovered the Mac. The thing that really caught his attention was the iMac. Mark was amazed by how they could fit a whole computer inside something that thin and not even need a tower. Also, ever since then, Mark has been wanting a Mac. Chapter 6. The iPod Nano 6th generation. Sometime in 2011. One day when Mark was at a party, they were having a raffle contest to win the new iPod Nano 6th generation. When they announced the winner, he could not believe it. He won. That was yet another piece of Apple to add to his small collection of Apple devices. Looking at the device, Mark kept thinking how amazing and smart Apple is to be able to put a touchscreen on an iPod so little. One day when playing basketball, he was using the Nano. One problem that he was experiencing was that the headphones were falling out of the port. He then took it to Apple and then learned that the headphones weren't plugged in far enough. That was yet another experience that would then lead him to want to make videos that help people with their tech-related problems. Chapter 7. The iPhone. November 2011. It's now winter of 2011 and Mark is still going without an iPhone. He was stuck in a 2-year contract with Verizon, but it was finally up. When he got to Verizon, the iPhone 4 was $99 and the 4S was $199. He could only afford the iPhone 4, so that's what he went with. That iPhone 4 was the one device that was responsible for what we do now. The functionality of the phone and the features were so amazing to me. I really love that phone. Mark enjoyed playing around with the phone and finding new features and tricks on it. Wanting to learn more about what his new iPhone could do, Mark went to YouTube and loved watching people's videos and on tips, tricks, and hidden features. Once he discovered YouTube and hidden features within iOS, Mark wanted to share those tips with people, but didn't know how to. Just for fun, Mark put his phone down on the carpet, leaned the iPad 2 up against a chair, and began recording videos. He didn't know why he was doing it, but he still made videos just for fun. Little did Mark know those videos would soon go up on YouTube as some of his first videos. Chapter 8. The Move. January 2012. During January 2012, Mark moved to Tacoma, Washington. He moved there after college because he liked the area and how close it was to Seattle. While living in Tacoma, he was going through boxes. He found a camcorder, something that would change the future later. You can see that Mark was addicted to his iPad. Everything he did was on it. He watched videos all day on the YouTube app, learning more about technology. Those videos inspired him to make his own videos. He decided that he wanted to make videos to help people with their technology problems. He told me that technology can be very hard and scary to learn, but when you try it with someone helping you, it will be amazing what you can do with it. That's the main reason why he wanted to start his own company. It took me a few months to learn how to talk behind the camera and make everything sound and work good. However, these days I'm making voiceovers without stuttering or saying every other word. Chapter 9. The Birth of iAppleTech 128, July 25th, 2012. Mark always wanted to publish his videos on YouTube, but wasn't sure if anyone would want to watch them. Still not sure, he kept making lots of videos, most of which are still not published to YouTube at this time. Finally, he got enough courage to create a Google account and publish a video to YouTube. Next, he needed a name. The problem was, there was no good names left to pick from. To find a good name, he went out to his favorite YouTube channels and looked for a name that would suit what he was doing. Back when I was trying to find a name for my channel, I was also into jailbreaking my iPod. There was one channel name that really stuck to me, iAppleTech 2. This channel was very well developed with many good tips. I wanted a name like that. When he went to make a channel, he just tried playing iAppleTech. That one was taken. Even to this day, he's still searching for that channel and still hasn't found the iAppleTech channel. Next, he used his favorite number at the end, 12. No luck. Finally, he tried his other favorite number at the end, along with 12, and that made what they are today, iAppleTech 128. Now that there was a channel to put these videos on, he needed a logo. All of the sites that he went to weren't that good, or you need to pay for a logo. One day he was watching TV and a commercial for Vistaprint came on. The idea of being able to make custom t-shirts was amazing. I went over to Vistaprint just to see what type of pre-made templates you could choose from. I entered the company info into the design maker. There was no slogan, so I just put in unboxings, reviews, and other tech videos. Check us out on Google Plus by searching Mark Paris. It was a very bad slogan, but it would work for now. The only problem was he had no Google Plus page. So he went over to Google Plus and created that page. At first he didn't know what to post in there, but then realized what social networks were all about. You just post updates about yourself and what's going on with your life. Mark did that part sometimes, but also posted updates on all things technology. After using his logo for a while, he decided it was time to get a better slogan. It took a moment to look at what I post on YouTube. It's everything technology. That's what led me to make the new slogan, all tech, all the time. As he told me, he had no clue why the logo never adopted the new slogan. However, he changed the YouTube title page to iAppleTech 128, all tech, all the time. Later on, Mark decided to drop the check us out on Google Plus by searching Mark Paris part. If you look at the logos on the YouTube or Google Plus profile image, you might see that it's still using the logo above, shown in the book. Very rarely, other than iAppleTech 128 software, do you see their logo with the longtime slogan. Now, the only other thing Mark needed was a website. All the people he subscribed to on YouTube had a site and he wanted one. The site that he currently uses is the first one he ever had. The site first started off as a place for people to learn more about iAppleTech 128 and contact him. Then he decided to use it as a place for people to go to get the latest tech news, kind of like 9 to 5 Mac or Mac rumors. The articles on our site first started off as poorly written statements, usually no more than 5 sentences. Now we have written articles going into depth on the latest Apple news. Chapter 10. Getting a sponsor. A few months after the channel started. Many of the videos Mark watched always thanked some company for sending that product out to them to review. Curious on how to get a product sent out to him, he searched YouTube for a video on how to get something sent out to review. The video that I watched said that you will probably want to have about 1,000 subscribers to get a physical product sent out to you, and about 400 to 500 subscribers to get an app sent out to you to review. The only problem was I had about 2 to 3 subscribers. Wanted to ask someone for a product. He started with an app. He asked many people for a free download code, all except one did not even reply. One company, SSA Mobile, replied and gave me the download code. I was so excited. I could not believe that I got a $2 app for free. They liked my work so much that they sent out another app for me to review. Since then, Mark has been doing lots of reviews for different companies, and one of the most special sponsors is the very famous GoPro. Chapter 11. Where is iAppleTech 128 now, as of 2014? Since the company's launch on July 25th, 2012, we have made it a long way. Since our launch, we have created a YouTube channel with over 100 subscribers, a site that has articles on the latest Apple news, a software site, a podcast site, and an affiliate site. Later in 2013, Mark decided to hire a software developer. That software developer would turn out to be me. To this day, I have coded 4 websites and over 10 pieces of software. Our apps would later be moved from the iAppleTech 128 site to its own site, IP-Software. Most of our software is free, but there are currently only 2 items that cost money. On that site, we also offer services like inbox cleaning and a custom Chrome app. As stated above, we have an affiliate site. This is mainly focused to help IP-Software succeed. That site offers rewards to people for referring our site. We also offer beta services to new and updated apps. Finally, towards the end of 2013, Mark decided to create a podcast site. It's called IP-Podcast. There's currently one podcast called WAN, Weekly Apple News. However, with episode 25, we sadly ended the WAN series. The viewer base wasn't as big as we were hoping for, and the cost to run a podcast is very expensive. There have been 4 people dedicated to iAppleTech 128 from the beginning. Those people are CEO Mark Paris, CFO Jay Lewis, software developer Ryan Bliss, and our secretary Taylor McKenzie. Without these people and their love for this company, we would not be where we are today. While iAppleTech 128 may not be as big of a company as we were hoping for, it is still growing and becoming bigger every day. Mark and all of our employees make it their mission to bring the best technology and Apple advice to people at an amazing price of free. If you would like to help contribute to iAppleTech 128, there are a few places you can do so. Donate, apply for a job at iAppleTech 128. Links. Helpful places to find more info about iAppleTech 128. Our site/pages. iAppleTech 128 site. IP-Software. Affiliate IP. IP-Podcast. iAppleTech 128 YouTube page. Mark's Google Plus page. Vine at Mark Paris. People referenced. iAppleTech 2. Vistaprint. 9 to 5 Mac. SSA Mobile. Site no longer available. Places/people who inspired Mark. Unbox Therapy, Chris Perillo.